Hey Haley.
Hey E.
Hey H. We're back on the OG stew.
Yes, it feels good to be back. Back in the chair, back in everything.
I know it's very comfortable. It's nice.
Feeling nice.
Um, yeah, feeling ready to go. Um, so today,
Yes.
what are we talking about?
Well, I think it's interesting to talk a little bit about emotions in the way that they ebb and flow, or more so just like having a good week or a bad week or a good day or a bad day. I think that we've both experienced different waves of that. Sometimes like you're having a bad day and I'm actually doing kind of well and we can lean on each other. But I think there was like a couple weeks ago that we were like, I don't want to record an episode. It's not in my cards. And we didn't because we had to listen to our bodies. So I think acknowledging that and maybe talking a bit about our highs and our lows and everything in between.
Yeah, I think that's definitely been a constant struggle throughout this is sort of like pre your dad being diagnosed with a terminal illness, it's like navigating regular emotions I think
That's
are
true.
hard. And I think this put everything in perspective. It also sort of like forced us to be really in touch with our emotions on a day-to-day, week-by-week basis.
Mhm.
Um you and I are interesting because I do feel like we don't have our lows at the same time.
Never.
Like almost never.
I think it's like really, do you think it's intentional?
Well, what it reminds me of is like when couples, like married couples,
Oh, you think we're a couple? Sorry, continue.
um married couples have the like 100% system where like the husband or like wife or whatever will come home and be like, I'm at 20% today, so their partner needs to pick up the other 80%.
I've actually never heard that.
Over, I love it so much. Like you can just be super, like you always need to get to 100 for each other and then for kids if you have them, but
Yeah.
mostly for each other.
So if someone's down, it's like leaning on each other. But
Yeah,
I
it's
like
like
that analogy.
it's like you come home from a really bad day at work and you're like, I'm so sorry, like I'm at a 10 today, and
Like you
then
need
you're
to step up.
right, and then your partner can like play the bigger role, make dinner, do something. I mean, recently I feel like at least with Will, I'm always a sub 50 and he's been just taking on so much more, which I am so grateful for him for, but it is hard.
Hmm.
But I do think that's like sort of how we operate, and not intentionally and not on
Yeah.
purpose. It just ends up being like if you text me and you're like, I'm crying, I'm having the worst day ever, like I'm in a really bad funk. More often than not, I'm not feeling that way. But even
Hmm.
if I am feeling a little sad, I'm sort of like, all right, like I have to pull out
Yeah.
so that I can be helpful to you. And I can be like, and sometimes talking to you or someone who's suffering or hurting
More.
more. No, but like just talking out feelings with someone who's going through something or hurting, it like makes it like it sort of gives yourself like it gives you advice at the same
Hmm.
time.
No, it's healing. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's the
like
word.
the a big reason why some people like want to go into therapy to like help themselves.
Well, isn't that a thing that like I mean,
Yes.
as you were getting your master's in social work,
Yes.
isn't that a thing where it's like people who are therapists like are trying to dissect their own issues?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I just started this trauma and its impact class actually, and we've had just one class so far. It's like a half semester class, and this professor is incredible actually. I mean, great first impression, but she sits us down in our or we're sitting down in class. She didn't sit us down, and she was like, "Okay, so like all of like every single person here has like experienced trauma. Like, why else would you be here? Like, has anyone not?" No hands go up because obviously like in some way or form you have. But no, I just think it's interesting. Like it's not, I don't want to say the cliche of like misery loves company, but like it does in some ways. And I also agree with you in the sense like when you texted me like down last week, I actually was feeling okay. I just like
Mm-hmm.
put my energy into like feeling bad for you and wanting to like help you. And maybe that's subconscious. But I
Yeah.
also think in general, we just you've never texted me and been like, I'm really sad. And I've also been like in my lowest. Like I'm usually like, I think that we just at
Yeah.
different times hit us because it is there's not like a method to the madness. It's just sort of like sometimes like coming home or coming back from being home back to the city is tough for both of us, but it flows. I've
Yeah.
recently been more sad at home and then like fine coming back, which is really weird.
Is that why you've been being so mean at home?
I've not been being mean. I've just
Kidding,
been
I'm
like
kidding, I'm kidding.
I've been like sleepy and
Yeah,
stuff
no, I'm joking.
and like D.
Um, no, I completely agree. And I actually have to say, like, specifically with the other week when I was particularly down bad. And again, it's like, it's no other real reason. Like, I think we announced that we weren't going to release an episode. There's some weeks that are harder than others. And so many people reached out and they were like, we saw your post. Like, I hope you're doing okay. Like, did something happen? And I'm like,
Wait, no one
nothing.
reached out to me. The fuck?
Get new friends. No, no, but like and it wasn't a million, like a couple of people were like, hey, I saw your post. I just wanted to check in. And it's like, it wasn't anything specific. It just, I think we had like a harder weekend at home and it's just this whole thing's tough and sometimes it hits hard and sometimes it is totally bearable and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't like there's no real reasoning behind it. I think is what is the crux of what we're trying to get at. Like you
Yeah.
don't need to have something really bad happen that day to have a bad day. I think for us we're just sort of navigating like how we can cope when we do feel things like that instead of trying to not feel them or
Mm-hmm.
like a lot reasoning or what's the word that I'm looking for?
Justification.
Yeah, we don't need to justify why we're feeling that way. We just need to say, okay, this is why I'm feeling this, or I am feeling this way.
Period.
Yeah, I'm feeling this way, period. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we used to say, I feel like all the time, nothing your feelings ever wrong, or
Yeah,
what's
like
that?
your feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, and I think it's something that my friends also like we talk about sometimes, and I don't think you like emotions are unpredictable sometimes, even if you're not going through something. But I think emotions in general, and like my conversation with people about it, or the way I feel about it, despite a situation you might be going through like us, but just like in general, like something I would tell like my best friend is like, no, your emotions are fine. You do not need a reason that you're sad right now. You're sad. Okay, let's feel your sadness. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And she and I have talked about this a lot. She's very, very emotionally in touch, and I consider myself to be also emotionally in touch. And we were it's so interesting because we always, when we're like helping each other, we'll say like, okay, well, what would you say if this was me? Like when you flip the roles,
I
you're
love
so much
that.
kinder to your friend. You're so much kinder to your sister.
Yeah.
Most of the time,
Then
you're so much
you are to
than you are to yourself. So I think thinking about that and like how I literally like preach all the time. All emotions are valid. Like feel what you need to feel. Like you don't need a reason to feel it. Like literally what you were saying. Like outside of this circumstance, but for some reason, like literally, I'll be like in therapy talking about it, and I'm like, but I just don't know why this week was so hard. Like why? And she's like, dude, you don't need a fucking reason.
Yeah.
But it is for me, and I'm curious what you think. Like I really like control.
Oh yeah.
And that unknown of like feeling almost like I feel out of control because I'm like, well, why on this random Tuesday am I sobbing?
Yeah.
But like last Friday, I was like queen of the world, like having fun.
I think consistency and control are two huge things for us.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two things that we don't have a lot of at all right now.
Yeah, and just like because we can't.
We don't have control over our situation with dad. We don't have like any consistency in terms of our schedule or regulating our emotions. It's just hard. And I think just acknowledging that it's hard and it's okay that it's hard is something that it's like you said, it's really easy to give that advice to somebody else and tell them why it's going to be okay and talk them through it. But then when it's you, it's like I'm like for some reason cannot listen to my own advice.
No, never.
And I just have such a hard time with it.
Yeah.
And I felt so guilty about not wanting to record. I stayed home from work and I felt like instead of just being okay and at peace with taking a day and being home and like just being in my emotions, like I didn't want to leave the apartment. And it's like I spent so much time being like, why do you not want to leave the apartment? It's pathetic that you can't leave the apartment versus just saying, okay, that's how I feel. I don't want to do that today and I'm just gonna let myself be. It's so hard to let yourself be.
It's so hard. Especially for you. I think me too, but I think you were so constantly go, go, go.
Yeah.
To the point where like what you were saying about like lack of consistency and like lack of routine, I feel like that's sort of something that, correct me if I'm wrong, but for work and stuff, like you're traveling a lot, you're doing this, like you're constantly on the go.
Yeah, I never have routine.
No.
But especially not now.
Especially not now, because I'm saying I am someone who really likes routine, and I feel like for the past 2 months I have had no longer than a week, 7 days straight in one place. And then like I'm going home or I'm like traveling. So it's nice. I have some fun things I'm doing, but it's tough to feel like I'm constantly packing a bag and constantly doing this. And like, I'm struggling with that right now with the home and back to New York. And like every time it's like a big transition of seeing friends and then being with family and like sort of like not leaving the house. And then like I'm here and I'm pushing like 3 birthday parties into one weekend.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I just feel for you because I know you always are sort of doing that. So maybe it makes you more of a vet with it, or maybe I'm just not as good at it. But
No, I mean,
it's
I don't
tough.
think you can. I feel like I don't have a real choice because if I was such a routine person, I would be constantly breaking my routine and I would drive myself insane.
You would.
That's not why I don't have a routine. I think I'm just built like that. Like I think I'm type B in my entire personal life
You are.
and type like A minus at work, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe. Um, yeah, I have a lot of time. I have a lot of trouble prioritizing like me and myself and that stuff. And it's a lot easier to just get stuff done and be organized like
And be busy.
when it's not just you in return. Although I will say, I did just get this Aura ring and
Ugh, I want one.
I love it. I realized this is, and you're going to love this because I know you accuse me, rightfully so, of not being very neat and tidy. Cause
Or
I'm
on
not.
time.
Yeah, no, I'm a mess. I'm all over the place. But, the other day I was like folding laundry, I was bopping around, I was like doing dishes, doing stuff, and my ring was like sensed exercise. And it was like, oh, activity, what were you doing? Housework? And I was like, housework burns calories? Like
So
game
now
changer.
is it game over?
Game changer. Game
Now
over. I am gonna be I'm Marie Kondo. Like game over. I had no idea that housework burned calories.
You're
I had no
insane.
idea. It's like it's my new favorite thing.
You're like doing the laundry, doing squats.
No, I'm texting Will. I'm like, don't do the dishes. Please don't do the dishes. Like, I have to do the dishes so I can burn my calories.
It took that for you?
Oh, yeah, completely.
Honestly?
What? Because there was no upside to it before.
Like having a clean home and like feeling
No.
nice? Okay.
No, I just wanted to get my activity score all the way up. That's basically
That'll
it.
do it.
Yeah.
So that's your plug for the Aura ring.
I actually have a lot of plugs for the Aura ring. It also has been sensing my stress, my relaxation, my sleep. And it's, I mean, even just going back to what we were talking about earlier of like giving yourself grace, it will say like, hey, you really didn't sleep well last night. And then my activity score for the day or my activity goal, I guess, rather for the day is way lower. Like if I sleep for 4 hours,
nice.
it's like, all right, you have a 100 activity score. So you don't have to, like if I don't go to the gym, I can still fulfill it. And it's sort of like, this
By
is
doing
where
dishes.
exactly. It's like, this is where your readiness is. This is what you should be doing based on how awake you are, how much energy you probably have.
Okay. I like that because I mean, I don't have one, but I'm thinking about it. And I know like back when the Apple Watch was a thing, it would like yell at you. Like
The
it was
Apple
like,
Watch is still a
it
thing.
was like, yes, but like but like when they first came out,
Oh yeah, it's like, stand up.
it was like, oh, hi, laziest piece of shit ever. Why don't you take a step for once? And it like sucked and it made me like anxious. So
That's how I feel with New York Times brain games. Like I won't play for a week and then I'll play Connections and it's like, great job with your huge streak of one day. I'm like, why are you doing like that's gonna make me want to do it more.
Or it's like, next time because I completely failed it. Like, ugh. Or like, phew. I'm like, well, I still got it. Don't say phew. That's so mean.
New York Times is kind of bitchy.
They are. But like it's sort of I like it.
No, it's good.
It's kind of part of
they're edgy. It's like really edgy.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, so the Aura ring, I mean, it's like it's just nice to have something else other than me telling myself, okay, you're tired, you don't need to do as much. It's like validation. Again, it's validation. And I apparently couldn't just get that from myself. Well, you should get the ring.
Because I love like academic
it's
validation.
Validating as fuck.
So whenever thinking about what we want to talk about this episode, she sort of was thinking about talking about like those weeks that you're not feeling well and just emotions overall, ebb and flowing, what we were just speaking about. And I thought that was interesting. So I reached out to a close friend of mine and wanted some input. And I was just like, what else do you think we could talk about sort of under that umbrella? And she had some good questions that she was like, I like when you do questions with each other. And I think sort of hearing might be helpful for myself, like might be helpful for your other friends, and just might be helpful for you guys to talk. So maybe we could do some of those.
Yeah, great. Phone a friend questions.
Phone a friend. So one thing she was asking me was, what situations are the hardest for you guys when you're feeling down? So I guess if you want to answer that.
What situations, like,
yeah.
Meaning, like, what are the hardest tasks to accomplish, or like what makes us feel down?
I interpret that as like, what's the hardest for you when you're in a week of feeling down or a day of feeling down?
Got it. That's a good question. I think the hardest thing for me is honestly, like, I mean, and this sounds cliche, but like getting up and I think like taking care of myself. Like honestly, like, I'm not trying to be funny, and this is really embarrassing, and I probably shouldn't share this publicly, but
Oh
like
God.
when I was, it's not that bad. It's pretty bad. When I was down last week, I like didn't shower for a number of days. Not like a crazy number, but like I'm an everyday showerer. I don't like to
Oh
not
yeah.
shower for one day. So
Not body shower.
no, I like didn't shower for like
I mean, you
for
were
like
sad.
3 days, which is gross. That said, it just like it was too hard to do. And I think we talked about this in an earlier episode. It's like you and I are very privileged in the sense of I think we've experienced anxiety and other like mental illness or mental illness adjacent feelings. But like depression is not something that was really in my
Depression is foreign to me.
yeah, it was not in
Yeah.
my like Pandora's box of mental illness.
Yeah.
And I get it. And it's sort of like when you're talking to someone who's going through that, or you see it in the movies or whatever, it's like it's so classic. Oh, I can't get up, I can't get out of bed. And I mean, I think of the like count to five, like 5-step theory. Or
Mel
what is it?
Robbins,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mel Robbins theory, where
Five,
it's
four,
like,
three, two, one.
yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm like, why can people not just do that? And I think that's actually an extremely helpful tactic. But when
It
you're in
is.
that spot, when you're in that like deep dark, like you can't do anything, and it's really challenging. And I like, again, I feel really grateful that that's not something that strikes me often. But even experiencing it as incrementally as has been happening to me in the past couple of months, it's really hard.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
um yeah, I mean, and this week it's so drastically different. Like even thinking about like I showered this morning and like I'm going to shower again tonight. Like I like
Yeah,
it's
because the
just
weeks are different.
so yeah, I was super stinky last week. What did you do? What's the hardest thing for you? Please say shower.
That's not mine. I struggle with a lot of things. The first thing that came to mind for me was sleep. And I think it's sort of a vicious cycle. And I struggle with sleep in general, but just like restless sleep, not being able to sleep, or sleeping too much. And I just think that part of my life gets really impacted when I'm not feeling that great. And it sometimes is like I'm not leaving bed and I'm sleeping for 12 hours and then I'm still exhausted, or it's like I'm sleeping for 30 minutes. And then I feel more down because of that and back and forth. But that's sort of consistent with me. So I also think, and this is pretty like basic, like if you look up like feeling down and like the DSM-5, like it's like whatever. But I think like my motivation gets really low, and whether that's motivation to work out, motivation to cook, for me like motivation to do schoolwork,
that's really
negative. Because that's already kind of hard for me. Like
I think that's hard for everyone. Like I can't imagine being back in school.
Like writing an essay, like goodbye, goodbye.
Literally,
because it's like it's not like I'm getting paid. So like, what's my motivation? Like not failing, but okay, I'm not going to fail.
Oof.
Academic validation. It's really hard. It is really hard, and I don't want to complain. I don't complain about that ever, really, because I see my friends who are working a 9 to 5, and I have like a 3-hour class, and then a 2-hour class, and then like I have other crap going on, of course, but like, but it's just like it's such a different world that I'm not going to complain to the people who are working. Yeah, and I just don't like to do that, but it is a different beast sometimes. So I'd say that my motivation gets low, and that also can translate into like motivation to like talk and like socialize and be with friends. Like I a lot of the times will like stay in my room and like computer like cocooning, but watching like shitty ass reality TV show.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's similar. It's just like doing the most basic of things, whether it's holding a conversation. It's like we talked about before, like not having your sparkle. Like we're very performative. When I feel like, I feel so boring and like I'm not adding anything. And then it just sort of perpetuates the cycle of feeling down.
I think we just need to like accept when that happens and be like, yeah, I'm not feeling great today. Cool. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow. Yeah. Call me, call you, call Lucy, like maybe call mom and dad depending on how we're feeling. But like, I just think if we can stop beating up ourselves for feeling not great, whether it's a couple days or a day or an hour or so, whatever it might be, like that will hopefully be beneficial.
Yeah, it's so much easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
So much easier said than done. But no, I agree. And it is like, and I don't know if this is one of your questions later, so sorry for Jaying the G.
Jumping the gun is Jaying the G.
But
just for everyone else who's not insane.
Good point. I like sometimes when it's like, okay, give yourself grace, and I say that a lot. I know I've been repetitive with that, but like give yourself
I mean,
grace,
it's
like
applicable.
yeah, like stay in bed for the extra hour, skip the workout, whatever. There isn't stuff that is like additive to that makes me feel better. It's not like, okay, treat yourself to ice cream, like do this. Like when I'm in that spot too, I'm also just so down that then I think I start to actually, I don't know if I've talked to you about this. I think I start to have like really bad self-image issues too. So it's not like, okay, eat a comforting bowl of pasta, because then I feel even shittier after, like if I do that. And it's almost just like there's no fix to that level of lowness, and it's hard.
That's really hard. I'm sorry. Because I mean, I think it's easier said than done to be like, go get like a cookie and you'll feel better. Because like sometimes that helps, but like sometimes then I do that and then my stomach hurts and I feel really gross. And like I didn't want to do that. But yeah, I think honestly,
it's like better in the moment, but then it's almost like a small peak to then accidentally dip into a bigger valley when it's that stage. Like I have no problem doing like eating whatever I want and like treating myself to stuff when I'm feeling normal and regular. It's just when I am in that down spot that I'm like,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No, and I think there's like the whole idea of listening to your body, and whether that's your body telling you it's craving something, or your body telling you it wants to stay in bed, or
totally
just like that mind-body connection is really important. And I, again, always preach that to other people, but God forbid I take it to myself.
God forbid.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think that makes sense, and that's interesting because I definitely think I've felt similarly. Maybe not to the same extent as you, but I really understand what you're saying, and we definitely haven't talked about that, so it is interesting.
Food for thought.
Or not. Ironic. I think it is though, like when you're not feeling good in a good headspace, like everything's else
bad.
Kind of sucks.
Everything's bad.
Like I don't think I'm like looking cute.
No.
When I feel bad, I feel ugly. I feel like gross. I feel like wormy. Like I don't know.
Wormy. Anyway, what are your other questions?
Oh yeah, sorry. Back to
little tangent.
Okay, this one I think is sort of. I feel like we maybe have talked about this, but
we've exhausted a lot of stuff at this point.
Outside of family, who do you want to spend the most time with when you're feeling down? Could be no one.
I was going to say you, but your family.
Oh wait, yeah, but we're also friends.
We're also. And then Will is my family now too. Yeah. I mean, I think we both have an amazing support system of amazing, great friends. And it really depends on like what I'm feeling. Like there's a certain type of down where I rely on like one of my specific coworkers and I know she'll pull me out of whatever I'm in. Or there's a very different type of down where like I rely on one of my best friends from school. And then there's another type of down where like if I just need a really, really, really good laugh, like you know I'm calling my high school friend.
Yes,
like,
you did say that.
Like it just depends on the mood really, but I'm so grateful to have such great support in so many different areas. And then I also think like there's people that have been through a similar situation or who understand what we're going through to another degree, and those people are really helpful to tap into as well, because sometimes you don't have to say anything and it's just helpful to know that someone else can be like, I got it. Like I got
they get it.
They get it. And sometimes just a check-in from someone like that is super helpful too.
No, I totally agree. I think I completely echo what you said. I think absolutely lucky to have a support system, but for me too, it's not like I have one go-to. I have a lot of go-tos, which is fabulous, but it is like, what am I needing? Do I want to cry and talk about it with a particular friend, like, or do I want to get my mind off it, or do I want this? And then like it is such an amazing circle. But then I also like this past weekend had actually 3 people come up to me and talk about the podcast, of 3 people that I'm not very close with. More like we're friendly, we're friends for sure, but like haven't seen them in months and like haven't really talked about it, and like so outwardly came up and talked about it, but with like this as the avenue, being like, oh my god, like I've been listening to your podcast, like it's amazing, like it's really sweet, whatever. And one of them in particular offered a lot of support because I didn't know, but she was describing like her connection with neuro-oncology specifically, and like all of that, and I was just like, oh, that is so amazing. I didn't know that, and like why would I maybe have known that? Maybe it would have come up, but it was just an interesting like support, and like that felt really good that I now know I have also like I could reach out to her if I wanted to, and I don't know, it's just it it really depends. I think we're lucky. I definitely think like sometimes like I need my high school friend, sometimes I need my college friend, sometimes I need like my long distance friends. Sometimes like yeah, it really depends. But I think we're lucky, and I think definitely for the most part, I feel like I go to you or Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's again different. That's like friend and family combo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think probably family first, not because I don't think we're all friends, but it just in the context of that question.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why when my friend was asking me, she was like outside of family,
right?
I think she knows for us because she knows our family very well.
Right.
That it meant that. Okay. Another one she was asking about was what are our triggers that people wouldn't necessarily think are a trigger. I don't know if you have any, but like sometimes like there's certain things that might like set you off.
I don't like. I mean, it's funny. I feel like we watch TV all the time and they make cancer references, but
Like
it doesn't.
Parent.
Yeah, or like dead parent. I mean, it doesn't. That to me doesn't do the same thing. It's sort of, for me, I think it's when I think about the future and I think about like time that we may not have, like when I see young children with grandparents, like that is a really big trigger for me.
Yeah.
And dad has said that used to really get him and that used to make him cry, and now he's sort of like he has that in check now. I don't. That I think probably because of like my age and that some of my friends are starting to have kids and stuff. I spend a lot of time with my nieces who are absolutely amazing and wonderful, but like it is hard to just have to see that and see families like experience grandparent love. Like that's really hard to see.
Yeah. So that's a really good segue into mine because this is also something you probably know, but I haven't said. But I get really triggered by the future. And like even like the conversation of kids like triggers me because I'm like I feel like I'm so far away from that. So like weddings, anything like that gets me. And like I know me and dad were talking about that the other day and I just like left because I was just like whatever. And it's selfish of me.
No, I don't think so.
It
I
also
think you're
like,
doing the right thing for you.
There's a little bit of like resentment in like my age order. Like I'm like a part of me gets like angry where I'm like, fuck you for being born first. Like I'm like jealous that you had that experience and I don't know if I will. But it's also that's insane.
No, it's not insane. I totally get it. And it's funny because I have moments actually of the reverse where like I was home by myself for 4 days the other week. You came back to New York and I stayed for the week. And I was like, it hasn't been me with mom and dad like that 2-on-1 since I was 2 years old. So in my adult.
And I had it for a while.
Yeah, you had it for 4 years. And like, yeah, I mean, Lucy and I were in the cut. Like we were coming back. We were still.
No, but like it was diff. Like it was like we were like tight.
Yeah, no, you guys, and that's really special time. And I think and then it's like Lucy who lives on the other side of the country. Like we have to think about.
Yeah, like how are we even complaining when like we went home last weekend and it's not that easy for her? Yeah,
totally. But I do think it's like the mentality of how are we even complaining? Like you're being pissed that you're the youngest and dad might not make it for all of your milestones. Like that's valid. Me wishing that I had more.
Yes, back to the emotions are valid.
Yeah. Like,
I know.
We shouldn't, like, we can still feel like we wish we were home more, even though we're home more than Lucy. It doesn't, it's not all about comparing yourself to other people. I think it's what you're feeling and feel what you're feeling.
And it's weird. You're so right. And it's weird because, like, I didn't want to tell you that because I didn't want you to, like, interpret it as, like, me, like, resenting you because that's not the case. It's, like, it's almost like,
I resent people whose parents don't have brain cancer. Like, that's just how we're processing this stuff. And it's, and then you think, okay, well, I know people whose parents have already passed. I know people whose both of their parents have passed. And it's like, that is so, I can't, like, it hurts my heart to think about them in that situation. But that doesn't mean that we can't be sad about the situation that we're in right now.
Like, I think it's like there's that weird sense of guilt around a lot of these emotions because I think we've been very lucky in a lot of ways, but like, I'm still like fucking allowed to be pissed. I am. And like, I'm allowed to be sad, and you're right.
100%.
And that makes me feel better because like, it's like me being like sad about future things and like a little like, oh, like that doesn't mean that I like am mad that you had that experience. No, I'm just like I want it because that was such a fun day for you. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And like I've seen what it could be.
Right. It's not like we're resenting people that are having a great time and we're like, fuck you for having a great time. No, it's like I want that for myself it's jealousy almost. It's,
Yes.
and that's,
Like,
that's
I'm the green
also,
monster.
the Grinch. And that's also an okay feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I think just the feelings are okay. I remember Dad always actually used to say when he was growing up that Grandma would always be like, why are you so angry? Don't be so angry. And he was like, I'm angry. Like, that's how I feel. I can't just not be angry because you've asked me to not be angry.
It's like when someone's like, just don't be anxious. And I'm like, oh, thanks so much.
Well, yeah. I'm like, okay, good one.
I'll fix
Like,
that.
oh, have you tried to set a schedule? I'm like, oh, no, that's a great idea. That will help. Like, no, it doesn't fucking help.
Wait, I was joking with Mom the other day because I remember one time I told her I was feeling down in high school and she was like, just go outside and eat a banana. Like, genuinely said that. And that's like such a bit, I feel like, of like,
Go outside and eat a banana.
no, but it's like the bit of like parents specifically being like, oh, come on, like, don't, it's okay.
Why the long face?
Yes. Like, I saw this, like, I guess meme or whatever, that was like a girl texting her dad, and it was like, Dad, like, I'm really anxious, like, I don't know what to do, I think I'm having a panic attack. And the dad's response was, hey, honey, golfing, I don't know, do a push-up. Like,
Yeah, oh my God, I saw that
like,
too.
you know what I
That
mean?
was really
It's
funny.
like, so that's what I equate with, like, just go outside,
Or, like,
get
you
some sunshine.
can't sleep? Like, count sheep. Great idea. Like, shit, never thought about that.
I remember one time I told Mom I had a stomach ache, and she just goes, no.
I mean, I'm sorry, do we want to talk about Mom's approach to ailments? I had a wart on the bottom of my
It was
foot.
low-key recently.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, really? Why do I remember it then?
Because we talk about it all the time.
Okay, continue, sorry.
Yes, I outed myself for not showering for 3 days. I don't have warts on my feet.
Okay.
Just want everyone to know that.
No warts here. Wart
This
clean.
is a wart-free zone.
Wart-free zone.
Wart-free zone. Anyway, I had a wart on my foot in about 4th or 5th grade, and I was like, Mom, can you take me to the doctor? I have a wart on my foot. And she dead ass looks at me and is like, no, just wish it away. I was like, pardon? Come again?
But in her defense, like,
No. What?
Her
what
top
defense?
teeth, like, were straight. Her bottom teeth weren't. But her top teeth were straight, and she would just, like, push on them, and they would, like, become straight.
That sounds like an old wife's tale to me. I think she just always has straight teeth. But anyway, like, wish it away. Wish it away.
So
I was like, okay, so I'm going to sit, like, in my bed every night and be like,
please,
Dear God, please get this wart off my foot. Like, take me to the doctor so they can fucking freeze it off.
Did you ever get it frozen off?
No. I wished it away and it went away.
Okay, because honestly, maybe she ate because I had a wart once, also a long time ago.
Did you also wish it away?
No, I got it frozen off, and it was the most painful thing in the world.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's shit that you can, like, do at CVS now that will, like, get rid of stuff.
No, mine was bad.
Mom took you to the doctor?
Yeah, the dermatologist.
Okay, so that's literally perk of being a youngest child. Like, I had to wish away my warts.
I was
and
probably being insufferable.
you got treated. Oh, you're probably calling the ambulance again.
It was one time, and I didn't dial. I was passed out.
Anyway, are there any other questions?
Yeah, do we want to do any more?
We could do one more. Let's wrap it up. Let's do one more. I mean, are there many more?
There's one more.
Let's do the one more then. That's great.
I know we sort of talked about this, but just like she was talking to me about coping and wondering like what ways we cope without necessarily trying to cope. So thinking about maybe like things that have been a coping mechanism that aren't like the stereotypical like talk to someone, like go on a walk, like things that like
that's
for me, like low-key, like, and this is like probably controversial, but like I love going out and going out with my friends and like having a few drinks or more than a few drinks. Like that is something that like I like to do to get my mind off stuff sometimes. And yes, there's a line of like if I get too drunk or I drink too much, and then like I'll feel shittier in the morning, like absolutely, and like that is something that I think everyone deals with, and like genuinely, like I don't know, but I really like being social and like laughing, being with my friends, and literally like not thinking about it.
I think that's a great answer. I think I maybe have the same answer. I'm definitely less fun because I'm older than you.
You're pretty fun. I went out with you Friday and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. and Saturday.
Oh my God, I
know we had
forgot
a lot
about
of
that.
fun.
We had a whole weekend.
No, I agree. I mean, I think like I like all of that. I'm trying to get back into reading because I definitely get like a high from reading. I
I
love reading, but I feel like I can never get focused enough. It's almost like what I imagine a runner's high to be like. I've never run more than 2 miles.
Runner's high doesn't exist.
Some people get it.
I trained for a half marathon and all I did was hurt my knee. And then
not everyone gets it, but some people get it. Okay, anyway, moving on. But no, I think like I wouldn't say that reading's my answer because I'm not doing it as much as I want to, but I'm trying to think of things like that I know like once I break through the barrier and actually do it,
like hobbies,
it makes me really happy. Like burning calories doing housework.
Oh, perfect. It all circles back.
It all circles back.
Well, I think like we're going to be in Florida. I think that you should read then. I'm actually going to bring a book. To wrap it up.
To wrap it out, we were talking about all of this and just talking about like being there for each other last week or whenever it was that I was feeling super down, keeps coming back to that. But Lucy, who we talk to probably every day, but I think I am more probably in touch with you just because we're in the same city. So specifically went like so far out of her way just to like make sure that I was good and to be there for me, and actually lent me some amazing advice.
She's such good advice.
She is such good advice.
Insane.
No, it's insane. And it just like that, I just wanted to end with a little shout out to her because it was so incredibly meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm.
I called Dad, just like talked to Dad. And when I was like sort of pulling out of it, I was feeling fine. I just wanted to say hi. And then Mom hopped on the phone and she was like, oh, I was just on the phone with Lucy. And I told her that you called. And she was like, Mom, Emma's having a hard week. Hang up with me and go talk to her. Like, she probably needs you right now more than I do. And it's like, I know.
That's really cute.
I know.
Oh my God, I like cry.
I know. Just the self-awareness, like when you're hurting.
Yeah.
But then to be able to pull out of that and also help someone else. I mean, I think that's our reasoning behind doing some of this podcast anyway, is to try to hopefully speak to other people that are going through a tough time. But it was really, and Lucy is always helpful and always amazing. And she's actually the best person to call when you're really not feeling like doing stuff.
She is.
But it was just like very specifically touching. And
she actually did that to me a couple weeks ago. I was having like more of a bad day than a week, but it was like a rough day. And she was
so you didn't spend 3 days not showering?
No, I didn't. I shower every day. Sometimes twice. And she called, we were texting like the group chat, the three of us, and I was like, shitty day, like whatever. And she's like, do you want to talk? And I was like, it's fine. Like I'm about to go to class anyway. And she still called me, even though I was like, no. And she was like, I just love you. And we talked for like 5 minutes. I had time. And she just like was like,
she's so wonderful.
It was like that, like and that's like the sister thing too. But it's also the sister thing of like all of us. But like when I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, but I want the call.
Yeah. But she's really good at that.
She's really good at that.
And not in a pushy way.
No, it's like, because I could have declined it if I was in class.
I think she's sort of like, all right, well, this is what I would want. And then I try to.
She's very in touch.
Yeah, she's very in touch. Yeah. She's
so maybe we need to take a page out of Lucy's book and start to treat ourselves how she treats us.
I think that's a great idea.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Oh, I thought we were going to like cheers, but we can shake.
Sick. All right. Awesome.